All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little Saturday 49er update. A lot of breaking news in Ninerland. We got a lot to get to, so let's get to it. We're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. And of course, we're also brought to you by our good friends at Sharp Corners Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California. Anthony Catania, the owner there, he's at 831-521-5264, and he's a great guy. He sent me today this little doozy, the Kyle Shanahan hat. Look at that. Kyle, I think, wears it in the black. I gotta get used to the little strap here across the front. That's kind of new, but really sweet Niner lid with the kind of the air thing in the back, and then look at, you got the sharp corners on there. You can see that. Look at that. It's a sharp hat, American flag. I'm very patriotic. There you go. You get the snap back. Good looking lid. I will be rocking this lid. I like it a lot. I really do. This is definitely a good hat. I've already got the John Deere fold on it, so I'm ready to roll. So thank you to Anthony Catania, one of our sponsors, for sending that to me. And we appreciate him. And Anthony, hopefully we'll see you soon. Big news in Ninerland. Ricky Pearsall has officially been activated. It's on. I mean, it is on. And when I say that, you say, well, Krug, guy's a rookie. Don't put too much pressure on him. What do you expect? It's early and that kind of thing. But I've been watching this guy practice, and I've seen this guy's film, and I think this is exactly the piece they need. They are struggling in the red zone. They don't have that quickness. Easy, Penny. Penny wants to guard everybody. Come here, Penny. Come here, Penny. Come here. Come here. Everybody wants to say hi to Penny. Come and say hi to Penny. Oh, we'll see if Penny comes in the picture here. It's kind of hard, actually, to get her over here. No, she's oh, maybe. There we go. There we go. Good girl. Good girl, Penny. Penny wants to guard the patio with her life. Other dogs walk by this patio. Whew. Good luck. Ooh, she's ferocious, golden retriever. Absolutely ferocious. Anyway, Pearsall's back, and it's on. It is on. What I mean is they need this guy. He has the quickness, the ball skills. He's got the full arsenal of red zone. It's funny, I asked Brock about Pearsall and the chemistry, and he immediately talked about how he's great against man coverage. And Mayoko brought it up a week or two ago, that he thinks that the Niners drafted Pearsall because of the way the Chiefs manned them up in the second half of the Super Bowl, and because Ayuk and Debo couldn't get that separation, and that they needed somebody who could play better against man, get open, against man coverage, which is kind of the basics of being a receiver. I mean, you're not an elite receiver if you can't get open against man coverage. And Pearsall is a really, really good guy to free himself up against man coverage because he's so quick, he's so precise, he's such a good route runner, and he kind of glides. He's got kind of a gliding style, and he's got great ball skills. The question is, and we're not going to find out. I mean, normally, if this were like training camp, I'd be able to tell you, hey, you know what? This is where it's at. But I haven't seen enough of Brock throwing to him to know where he's at. But I'll tell you this. In May, Brock to Pearsall looked amazing. Like these guys were totally locked in and really looked like they'd been together for 5 years. I mean, it was really impressive. There was one practice in minicamp where Brock threw like 5 or 6 balls to Ricky, and Ricky, caught like 4 of them, and a lot of them were downfield, and they were in traffic, kind of a thing. I mean, these guys definitely had a good chemistry going. Now, if they've worked together on the side, and I would imagine they have to some degree. Now, how much, I don't know, but they could be in much more lockstep than anybody would think, considering this is actually his first official game. They may have repped it on the practice field to an extent that the way Ricky runs routes and the way Brock's precision and accuracy is, he may be exactly what the Niners need in the red zone. At least that's the hope. The 49ers are struggling in the red zone. They need an answer. Maybe Ricky can be that answer. I can't wait to see him. I also think he's going to be a guy who's going to be a great continuity piece for this offense. Why? Because, when you have 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, you got to stay on the field. You got to make a play. Sometimes, that stop route, that simple stop route out of the slot is just such a, the corner doesn't know where you're going. If it's like watching Stafford the last year complete passes to Kupp and to Puka Nacua. I think that's what Ricky can be for Purdy. He can be that guy who, everybody can know that Purdy's going to Pearsall, but if Purdy throws it with anticipation to a spot before Pearsall makes the break, I think they can be in very much lockstep. So that's a combo to be excited about, I think, if you're a 49er fan. A couple other notes. Jaylen Mahoney activated. Niners get another young DB. This guy was an undrafted free agent out of Vanderbilt. He's a safety. He's got really good movement ability. So that's an interesting one. Anders, don't call him Anders, it's Anders Carlson, has been activated off the practice squad. All right, couple thoughts here. I talked to him earlier this week. Nice guy. He's got a great competitive spirit. Him and his brother have a competition. Of course, you say, Carlson, who's that? No, his brother is Daniel Carlson. That's the Raiders kicker. So they're very competitive. Talk to him, good guy. I think his numbers look okay. I've looked at him. He struggles a little bit outside of 40, but he's money inside of 40. I mean, who isn't in the NFL? 40 at this point. But the one thing is the kickoffs are a concern, because I don't know about the leg strength, and I don't know about his ability to kick it out of the back of the end zone. And judging from last week, one of the real problems that the 49ers are going to have is that, kicking accuracy obviously matters. And Matthew Wright was great. And by the way, they officially put Wright on the IR, so he's more seriously injured than previously thought. So it's going to be time. It's Anders Carlson until Jake gets back on the field. But, nobody is really kicking it short. All these kickers, for the most part, are kicking it through the back of the end zone. So there's very few, it's a new play, and now you've got to return. If you're kicking it short, you're at a huge disadvantage because your kickoff coverage unit, it's a new angles, new play. There's and now you're getting even fewer reps at it because everybody's kicking it through the back of the end zone. So the whole thing's just a little bizarre. It's ripe, for the opportunity to have somebody take one back. So to me, that's a major factor in this game. Matthew Wright in the pregame last week was kicking them short, and they were short little line drives. And the guys up in the booth who were watching it, who were smart, noticed that and were like, hey, look, he's kicking it short. Watch for the return. Bingo. Laviska Shenault, first one, takes it back, 35 yards, something like that, 36 yards. Later in the game, busted the 97-yarder and took it to the house. So, kicking it through the back of the end zone is it's not just like, oh, that would be great. It's like, kick it through the back of the end zone. And if you don't, the coverage units are so, it's such a new play, and the angles are different, and they have so little reps of it that it's volatile, and anything can happen. And I would think that if you don't kick it through the back of the end zone, the chances of having another one run back, believe it or not, are good or bad if you're a 49er fan. I could see it happening again. So that is something to watch Sunday against Kansas City. Can Anders, don't call me Anders Carlson, can he kick it through the back of the end zone and get the touchback? Or is this, are we going to have to see the Niners coverage units, which have to be one of the most struggling unit in the NFL right now, try to defend the Chief return game? And just because the nature of the reputation of the Chief special teams coach, Dave Taub, I just don't feel good about that. That's one angle on tomorrow's game that I'm a little concerned about. Interesting. I mentioned this earlier today, but that's the news. Ricky Pearsall activated. Jaylen Mahoney and Anders Carlson called off the practice squad. Matthew Wright officially put on the IR. And one other thing, and I mentioned it in a previous video, but tomorrow's a big day, I think, for Pearsall in another way. Diana Rossini is mentioning Debo trade rumors. I hadn't even considered that as an option. But, it makes me wonder how eager the 49ers are to maybe shed a little salary and get a draft pick or two. Names like Debo Samuel and Mooney Ward been mentioned. It really makes you wonder, how vitally important the next two games are going into that trade deadline. Anyway, tomorrow's going to be a great one. I like the 49ers to get over in this thing. They're, like some people would say, well, the Niners are due. The Chiefs have the Niners number. I'll take Reed over Shanahan. I'll take Mahomes over Purdy. I get it. The Chiefs have won 4 straight against the Niners and 6 of the last 7. I asked Kittle this week, I said, what's the key to victory? He said, we got to run it 30 times and we got to stop turning it over. We're turning it over too much. I looked up the numbers. The Niners turned it over in the last 3 times against Kansas City, 7 times. The last 3 games against the Chiefs, the Niners have turned it over 7 times. 7 times. So that right there can't happen. You're never going to beat this team if you turn it over 2 or 3 times a game. The Niners have to not turn it over, and they got to get a turnover. They got to reverse that trend a little bit. I think I would like to see the Niners go to Pearsall once or twice in the red zone. I think he's going to impact the game in a positive way. There's a couple things to really watch for in this game. A big part of the Chief offense is the screen game. They're going to throw a bunch of screens to Kareem Hunt. And, the one thing, if you go back to the last home game that the Niners had against the Chiefs, where Afonga got the early pick, probably Andy Reid likes to go back when he feels like he's got an advantage where he sees a weakness. That day, the 49ers did not tackle Jerick McKinnon worth a damn on a couple screen passes. You can bank that they're going to throw some screen passes to Kareem Hunt. So I hope the 49ers practiced defending the screen pass and will play fast and hustle and fly around. I'm worried about Devondre Campbell's lack of agility against some of these screen passes in open spaces where the lanes are undefined, and you just kind of have to, have the want and the lateral agility and the speed and quickness to get to the ball carrier. Because I know Jalen Graham can get there, and I know D. Winters can get there. I don't know that Campbell can get there. That's a concern to me. Is can Kareem Hunt kill the Niners in the screen game? The other concern is, have the Niners been able to defend verticals? Did they ever really defend the verticals? I know they gave up a vertical to Justin Jefferson, 97 yards. I know they gave up another vertical to Tutu Atwell for 50 yards. I haven't seen anybody really go up top against the 49ers since, and I think it's a lot of personnel related, but the Chiefs went and got the biggest up top guy there is. So I think you can almost bank that Mahomes is going to throw the ball down the field. And if the Niners do, bring that safety up and try to play aggressively, Mahomes is going to try to throw it over the top of their heads, and he's going to try to throw it to Worthy. And Worthy's got 4.21 speed. So, the one thing about Kansas City, Tyreek Hill had huge speed. This kid's even faster. But I will say this. Penny, you want to go inside? Come here, Penny. We'll go inside in a second. But I really think the key here is you have to make sure that you back off of Worthy, you give him plenty of space. And then you hug up on Juju Smith-Schuster. You hug up on Kareem Hunt, who doesn't run that well. You hug up on Kelsey at this point in his career. You play tight coverage on those guys, and you give Worthy tons of room. I think that's pretty much how you defend him. Now, can the Niners get pressure on Mahomes? I think his tackles are his weakness. The interior is really good. So I think that's, you're not going to get A-gap pressure against them. So that's a big part of it. Can the Niners tackle Kareem Hunt in the screen game? Can they defend the verticals? And gosh, can we get to a game against the Chiefs where Patrick Mahomes doesn't have the ball in his hands in the end of the fourth quarter with a chance to win? It just seems like it would be nice if the 49ers could get a lead and play from ahead in this thing. And then I would say, for the Niners offensively in this game, if you got to see if you can establish the run. The Chiefs are really, really good against the run. But then if you look at some of the numbers, Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquill, who are both really solid linebackers, and Bolton's way better than solid. He's electric, fast, instinctive. But both those guys are getting toasted in pass coverage. So if you can go after Bolton and Tranquill in pass coverage, that's the way to go. And then the other thing is feed Kittle. Chiefs are like 19th in the league, DVOA, defending the tight end. Kittle's hot. Kittle's playing well. Feed Kittle. Kittle, this could be a huge day for Kittle. I'd love to see if Jordan Mason could get going. I'll tell you what I love, too, is I love the fact that this team has Guerendo, because Guerendo, one of the points that Chris Forster made this week was a hell of a point, is that if you can get Guerendo through the line of scrimmage, you can pop him free, spring him, if you say, onto that second level, and get him through just that initial hole. The safeties see him and they'll take bad angles. They're looking at a 220-pound guy and they take bad angles. They don't take conservative angles, and he's got 4.33 speed at that size. So get ready for more safeties to take more bad angles on Guerendo. And that makes him a real weapon, because that means if you can spring him through the line of scrimmage and get him to that second level, he's got a chance to house it. And that's exciting. That kind of speed. They need, how do you beat Kansas City? You get a couple turnovers. You don't have a blunder on special teams. And maybe you get a guy like Guerendo to pop a touchdown, get a quick score. I mean, he is or how about this? He was a receiver in high school. How about get him isolated on Tranquill and throw him the ball, and let's see if Drew Tranquill can run with this cat in the open field. And I don't think he can. So once again, house call potential there. So I really like what I've seen about the potential of Guerendo. He doesn't have those running back pick and feel and instincts and vision, and that's just the slow developing. No, that's not. But if you can get him on the quick hitter, the trap, a quick hitter run play, man, he's exciting and he can take it to the house. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm going to go watch a little bit more college football. Got some wagers going tonight. Going to watch some ball, and then I'm barbecuing some New York steaks. We're going to go New York steaks on a Saturday night, and maybe take Penny for a walk. So hey, have a great Saturday. Thanks for watching the Krug Show on YouTube.